September 27, 1941, a German U-boat commander named Kapitänleutnant Heinrich Bleichert sat in the cramped control room of U-109, scanning the Atlantic horizon through his periscope. He had just sunk his third Allied cargo ship in 2 days. The ship had gone down quickly, its crew abandoning in lifeboats, its precious cargo of food and ammunition settling to the bottom of the ocean. Bleichert marked the kill in his log and allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. The mathematics of the U-boat war were working in Germany's favor. Simple, brutal mathematics. Germany could sink Allied cargo ships faster than the Allies could build them. Every month, German U-boats were sending hundreds of thousands of tons of Allied shipping to the bottom of the Atlantic. Every month, British and American shipyards were struggling to replace those losses. The numbers didn't lie. At the current rate, Germany would starve Britain into surrender within a year, maybe less. The Allies were losing the Battle of the Atlantic, and everyone knew it. The mathematics were inescapable. Or so Bleichert believed. What Bleichert didn't know, what no German officer knew in September 1941, was that the mathematics were about to change completely, impossibly, because in 18 shipyards across the United States, American engineers were preparing to do something that would shatter every assumption about how long it took to build a ship. They were preparing to build cargo ships not in months, but in weeks, not one at a time, but dozens simultaneously, not with traditional shipbuilding methods, but with a revolutionary assembly line process that would turn ship construction into something closer to automobile manufacturing. They were preparing to build Liberty ships, and those Liberty ships were going to change everything. The story of the Liberty ship begins with a problem that seemed unsolvable. In 1940, Britain was alone, fighting Nazi Germany while trying to sustain itself through imports from America. Everything Britain needed to survive came by ship across the Atlantic: food, fuel, ammunition, weapons, raw materials, everything, and German U-boats were systematically destroying those ships faster than British shipyards could replace them. The mathematics were simple and terrifying. Britain was bleeding cargo capacity. At the current rate of loss, Britain would run out of ships before Germany ran out of U-boats. American President Franklin Roosevelt understood the problem. Britain needed ships, hundreds of ships, maybe thousands, and they needed them fast. But traditional shipbuilding was slow. Building a cargo ship using conventional methods took 8 months to a year. 8 months per ship. Britain didn't have 8 months multiplied by the hundreds of ships they needed. Britain might not even have 8 more months of war before starvation and fuel shortages forced surrender. Roosevelt turned to American industry and asked a question that seemed absurd. Could America build cargo ships fast enough to replace British losses? Not just match the losses, but exceed them. Could America build ships faster than Germany could sink them? The answer from traditional shipbuilders was no. Absolutely not impossible. Ships were complex. They required skilled labor. They required time. There was no way to speed up the process significantly. But Roosevelt didn't ask traditional shipbuilders. He asked Henry Kaiser. And Henry Kaiser didn't know that what Roosevelt was asking for was impossible. Kaiser was a construction magnate who had built dams and highways and bridges. He had never built a ship in his life. He knew nothing about traditional shipbuilding, and that ignorance turned out to be his greatest advantage, because Kaiser looked at ship construction not as a shipbuilder, but as an industrialist. And he saw something that traditional shipbuilders had missed. Building a ship was not fundamentally different from building anything else. It was an assembly problem, and assembly problems could be solved with assembly line techniques. Kaiser studied shipbuilding for weeks. He visited shipyards. He talked to naval architects. He examined every step of the construction process, and he concluded that traditional shipbuilding was insanely inefficient. Ships were being built the way they had been built for centuries, one ship at a time, each ship unique, each component custom-fitted, skilled craftsmen doing everything by hand. It was craftsmanship, certainly, but it was slow. Impossibly slow for what America needed to accomplish. Kaiser proposed something radical. He would build ships the way Henry Ford built cars. Standardized components, prefabricated sections, welding instead of riveting, assembly line techniques, multiple ships under construction simultaneously. He claimed he could reduce construction time from 8 months to 2 months, maybe less. The traditional shipbuilders laughed at him. 2 months to build a ship? Impossible. Kaiser didn't know what he was talking about. Ships weren't cars. You couldn't mass produce them. But Roosevelt gave Kaiser the contract anyway, and Kaiser got to work. The design Kaiser chose was called the Liberty ship. It was based on a British tramp steamer design, simple and functional, nothing fancy, nothing innovative, just a basic cargo ship designed to carry 10,000 tons of cargo across the Atlantic and hopefully survive long enough to make multiple trips. The Liberty ship was not fast, it was not beautiful. Sailors would later call them ugly ducklings. But the Liberty ship had one crucial characteristic. It could be built using mass production techniques. Kaiser revolutionized every aspect of ship construction. Traditional ships were built from the keel up, one section at a time, with each section fitted to the previous section by skilled craftsmen. Kaiser's Liberty ships were built in prefabricated sections in different parts of the shipyard, then assembled on the slipway using enormous cranes. It was like building with massive Lego blocks. Traditional ships were riveted together, a process that required skilled riveters and was slow and labor-intensive. Kaiser's ships were welded, a process that was faster and could be taught to less skilled workers. Kaiser hired everyone. Men who had never worked in a shipyard, women who had never held a welding torch. He hired teachers and farmers and shopkeepers and trained them to do one specific job: weld this seam, install this pipe, paint this section. He broke ship construction down into hundreds of simple tasks that could be taught quickly and performed efficiently. It was the assembly line applied to something that weighed 10,000 tons. The first Liberty ship, the SS Patrick Henry, was launched on September 27, 1941, exactly 1 year after Roosevelt had asked if America could build ships fast enough. The Patrick Henry had taken 244 days to build. That was faster than traditional construction, but not fast enough. Kaiser knew he could do better, much better. He refined his processes. He improved his training. He streamlined his assembly line, and the construction times began to drop dramatically. By 1942, Kaiser's shipyards were building Liberty ships in 60 days, then 50 days, then 40 days. Each ship was coming off the line faster than the previous one. The workers were getting more efficient. The processes were being optimized. And then Kaiser did something that captured the world's imagination. He announced that his Richmond, California shipyard would attempt to build a Liberty ship in less than 2 weeks. 2 weeks from keel laying to launch. It seemed impossible, insane, a publicity stunt. On November 12, 1942, the keel of the SS Robert E. Peary was laid at Kaiser's Richmond shipyard. The entire nation watched. Reporters crowded the shipyard. Cameras filmed the construction. Workers worked around the clock in shifts. Prefabricated sections were assembled with precision choreography. Welders worked side by side, their torches creating a continuous river of sparks. Cranes lifted massive whole sections into place. The ship grew before spectators' eyes, not over months, but over days. Over hours. For days, 15 hours, and 29 minutes after the keel was laid, the SS Robert E. Peary slid down the slipway into the water. A complete, fully functional Liberty ship, built in less than 5 days. The crowd erupted in cheers. Newsreels carried the footage across America and around the world. The impossible had become reality. America could build a ship faster than most people could build a house. The Robert E. Peary record was a publicity stunt, using every possible shortcut and accepting a ship that would need additional work after launch. But it proved the point. America had figured out how to mass-produce ships. The average Liberty ship construction time eventually settled at 42 days. 42 days from keel laying to launch. Ships that traditional methods would have taken 8 months to build were sliding into the water every 6 weeks. And they were being built in numbers that defied comprehension. By 1943, 18 American shipyards were building Liberty ships at peak production. America was completing 3 Liberty ships per day. 3 ships per day. Over 1,000 days per year. The mathematics that had favored Germany were now inverting. German U-boats could not sink ships as fast as America could build them. Not even close. Kapitänleutnant Bleichert, the U-boat commander who had been so confident in September 1941, had a very different experience. By 1943, he would sink a cargo ship, mark the kill in his log, and then days later encounter what seemed like the same ship making another crossing. It wasn't the same ship, of course. It was another Liberty ship, identical to the one he had sunk. And there would be another after that, and another, and another, an endless stream of ships that U-boats could not possibly sink fast enough. German naval intelligence struggled to understand what was happening. Their reports showed that they were sinking more Allied ships than ever before. Their U-boat crews were performing brilliantly, and yet Allied cargo capacity was increasing, not decreasing. The mathematics no longer made sense. How were the Allies replacing their ships faster than Germany could sink them? The answer, which German intelligence eventually pieced together, was the Liberty ship program. And once they understood what America was doing, German commanders realized something terrible. Germany could not win the Battle of the Atlantic. The mathematics had shifted. America's industrial capacity had made the U-boat war unwinnable. The Liberty ship program produced 2,710 ships between 1941 and 1945, 2,710 ships, each capable of carrying 10,000 tons of cargo. The program employed over 200,000 workers at its peak. It cost approximately $2 billion, roughly $30 billion in today's money, and it turned the tide of the Battle of the Atlantic decisively in favor of the Allies. But the story of the Liberty ship is more than just a story about production numbers. It's a story about how America fought World War II, not with better tactics or better soldiers or better generals. Though America had all of those things, America fought World War II with industrial capacity, with the ability to produce more of everything faster than anyone else. The Liberty ship exemplified this approach. It wasn't the best cargo ship. It wasn't the fastest or the most durable, but it could be built in enormous numbers in impossibly short timeframes. And in warfare, quantity applied at the right place, and time can overcome almost any other advantage. The Liberty ship proved that in modern warfare, the factory can be as important as the battlefield, that the worker with a welding torch can be as crucial as the soldier with a rifle, that logistics and industrial production can determine the outcome of wars just as surely as tactics and strategy. And it proved that when America decided to build something, to really commit its industrial capacity to a project, the results could be staggering in their scale and speed. 42 days. That's all it took. 42 days to build a ship that would help win a war. 42 days to demonstrate that the impossible was merely difficult. 42 days to change the mathematics of the Battle of the Atlantic. 42 days to prove that American industrial power, properly organized and directed, was a force that no enemy could overcome. The Liberty ship was not glamorous. It was not celebrated in movies or commemorated in monuments. But the Liberty ship won the Battle of the Atlantic as surely as any destroyer or aircraft. And it won that battle not through superior firepower or tactical brilliance, but through sheer, overwhelming, relentless production capacity. 3 ships per day, every day, until Germany realized that the mathematics had betrayed them and the war at sea was lost.